This woman, having argued with her friend, found herself alone on the street on a cold February night. It was late at night following her birthday celebration, which should have been a joyous occasion. However, without shoes or a ride, she found herself on the sidewalk. At times like these, we all rely on the kindness of strangers. But who can we trust? She placed her trust in the wrong person when an Uber driver turned her down, and she never heard from them again. What is it? Does anyone know? Does anyone have me? My daughter? Only a little girl, please. Investigators have been searching Coleman's Providence apartment all day. Investigators are searching for a woman who disappeared from a nightclub. Tonight, we bid a heartfelt farewell to a young mother. Jassy Correia had just concluded her 23rd birthday celebration in 2019 when authorities claim Louisa kidnapped her. The story begins with a suitcase, a trail of CCTV footage, and a disastrous birthday party. This is Jassy Correia's tragic story. Jassy Correia was born in February 1996 in Pria, Cape Verde. She had moved to the United States with her father when she was 3 years old and grew up in Boston, grateful to her family for the opportunities they had provided for her and optimistic about her future. She recorded her future plans in her notebook. The notebook's front cover read, "Life is my favorite adventure." Inside, she kept track of her budget and to-do lists, writing things like applying for jobs in person, visiting family, taking the test at least once, failing or passing, and looking for a new job. Motivational phrases in the notebook's margins include, "You've got this," "You can do it," and the hash mark for thrive. Jassy had grown up in poverty and worked with a social worker to get back on her feet, but this notebook demonstrated her optimism. She worked as a hostess in a Boston restaurant and was looking for more work close to home in Dorchester to support herself and her 2-year-old daughter Gabby. Gabby was born in turbulent circumstances. Jessy's ex, Miguel A. Castro, was her father. It is unclear how Jassy and Miguel met, but things quickly turned sour. In January 2018, when their daughter was only a year old, Jassy texted Miguel's mother, "You need to help me. Miguel will not let me leave. Do not call him. He will kill me." She also sent his mother a photograph of herself. Miguel had fractured her orbital bone and broken her nose. Miguel's mother dialed 911. The police discovered Jassy hiding beneath Miguel's stairs, barely able to speak. Miguel apparently became enraged that she was texting another man and refused to let her leave his home. The police charged him, but Jassy refused to cooperate in the subsequent court case. It was difficult to place blame on her for this. She had a very traumatic experience with her child's father, and perhaps she simply wanted to forget. The court found Miguel guilty of kidnapping, assault and battery, witness intimidation, and criminal attempt. The court sentenced him to 4.5 to 5 years in state prison, 3 years on probation, and prohibited him from having any contact with Jassy. Did Jassy sigh with relief that she was finally safe from her dangerous ex? She was undoubtedly trying to put her life back together. She was working to enroll her daughter in daycare and looking for a more permanent and stable place to live. She had a job interview scheduled for February 25th, 2019, but Jassy would never attend this interview. Jessy's 23rd birthday was February 26th, 2019. This was a Tuesday, so she decided to celebrate with her friends the previous weekend, on Saturday, the 23rd. That evening, she had planned to attend a club with her friend Asia, while her paternal grandmother, Miguel's mother, who had saved Jessy's life the previous year, took care of Gabby. Jassy had complete trust in Miguel's mother and knew she would protect Gabby from harm. But she didn't realize she should be concerned about her own safety. On Saturday morning, Jassy visited her friend Nia's apartment in Dorchester. They went shopping together, and Jassy bought the outfit she was going to wear to the club that evening. She purchased black high heels, an orange jumpsuit, and a denim jacket featuring wings on the back. They prepared to gather at Nia's apartment. Jassy kept her purse and phone with her, but she left all of her other belongings at Nia's, including the keys to her own apartment. She planned to stay at Nia's after the night out, so she could get her belongings before picking up her daughter the next day. Around midnight, Asia and her friend Reggie picked up Jassy and Nia from Nia's apartment. It left late, and Jassy was confused about where they were meeting. So when they arrived at the club they had chosen, the party was already in full swing, and you were in downtown Boston at 12:40 a.m.? The four friends wound up in a corner of the crowded bar. They purchased a bottle of champagne and shared it before taking a few shots of tequila each. Then they took to the dance floor. This was Nia's final memory of Jassy. When the friends returned to the bar, Nia began arguing with Jassy. It's unclear what this argument was about. It lasted until the club's 2 a.m. closing time, when the group walked through an alley on their way back to the parking garage. On this walk, Jassy removed her heels and gave them to Asia to carry. CCTV footage captured Jassy and Nia continuing to fight, with Nia repeatedly pushing Jassy. According to Asia and Reggie, Jassy attempted to de-escalate the situation by convincing Nia to calm down and get in the car with them so they could return to Nia's apartment. But Nia was still drunk and aggressive, refusing to get in the car. Asia wanted Jassy to join them and leave Nia behind. However, Jassy was concerned rather than upset by her friend's behavior. She wished Nia would be safe. So Asia and Reggie drove away, leaving Jassy and Nia to call an Uber. They had accidentally taken Jessy's shoes with them. Nia walked away by herself, leaving Jassy barefoot. This was the last time they saw Jassy alive. She did not return to Nia's apartment that night. Nia was concerned when she woke up in an empty apartment and realized Jassy had not returned. She called Jassy, but there was no answer. Jessy's friends continued to try to contact her over the next few days, but she never returned their calls. She is always with me. So, if I had to go missing for a few days and didn't hear back, I knew something was wrong. By the afternoon of February 26th, Jessy's 23rd birthday, Nia and Jessy's father had to report her missing. The police started their search in the vicinity of the club where they had seen her. CCTV effectively covered the area, enabling them to quickly track her last movements. They discovered footage of Jassy alone on the sidewalk, with only a denim jacket and no shoes, where Nia had left her. She noticed an Uber idling on the side of the road and approached it, asking the driver if he could use her app to hire him. However, he wanted to work as an Uber XL in order to make more money. When she got into the car, he pushed her out again, and she fell to the sidewalk. This was when another man approached her. According to police footage, the other man picked her up at 2:16 a.m. and held her in both hands for nearly a minute while talking to her on the sidewalk. She searched around for Nia. Despite not seeing her, she appears to have agreed to go with this man. This was a tragic mistake. The man's name was Louis Coleman III. Louis was 32 years old and resided in Providence, Rhode Island. He is originally from California and holds a master's degree in experimental physics from California State University, Long Beach. He had an interest in bioengineering and had previously worked in an electrical engineering lab developing a sleep aid application. He had been a quiet and intelligent student, despite financial difficulties and occasional missed deadlines for his schoolwork. In 2017, he relocated to the East Coast to begin a career at Raytheon in Portsmouth, Rhode Island. Louis was living a comfortable life, earning approximately $70,000 per year. By all accounts, Louis was an ordinary man with promising prospects, and his past provided no indication of what was to come. Louis II arrived at the venue early on Sunday, February 24, 2019. He had arrived at 1 a.m. I met a young woman named Lorna. They hit it off right away, and as it was getting close to closing time, they were on their way to the bathroom when Lorna's brother interrupted. Perhaps he disliked Louis's appearance. Lorna and Louis continued to text, but she and her brother left the club without him. We can only speculate as to what Louis was thinking as he left the club alone that night. Did he feel deprived of female company after Lorna abandoned him? Was he looking for someone else? On Fremont Street, Louis passed the Uber that Jassy was talking to. He turned his head to witness Jassy's ride rejection, and he confirmed that it had occurred at 2:16 a.m. When she was pushed out of the car, he was right there to pick her up. They talked, and he persuaded her, drunk and vulnerable, to accompany him. A series of CCTV cameras caught him walking alongside her before giving her a piggyback ride. Maybe her bare feet were cold. Later down the street, she made the fateful decision to get into his car. The police were able to compare Louis' image on CCTV to his ID taken at the venue. They now recognized who he was. His Android phone kept a log of his location data, and when police accessed it, they were able to match his location to Tremont Street early on Sunday morning. He only drove to the other side of the street, where the car remained stationary for 12 minutes, with the headlights turned off, as captured on CCTV. Then he backed up and drove away. Surveillance revealed that when he saw two police cars with blue lights flashing, he immediately returned the way he came. He clearly had something to hide. He returned to his home on Chestnut Street in Providence around 4:15 a.m. With the club an hour away, what had he been doing with his free time? On Wednesday evening, Boston police contacted the Providence Police Department about Louis's apartment. They did so at about 1 a.m. They attempted to enter the building on Thursday morning, February 28th, but were unsuccessful. The police were unaware that Louis was on the street, watching them as they attempted to contact him. He parked his car a few blocks away after they left, and within 15 minutes of their departure, CCTV captured him wheeling a suitcase toward his car. The next day, Boston police officers traveled to Providence. They entered Louis' apartment, which was vacant. Despite the fact that it had snowed, the windows were open, and a couch cushion cover and shower curtain were missing. The truth quickly became painfully clear. Whatever attempts Louis would later make to cover his tracks, he had failed to account for the copious CCTV on the streets and even inside his own home. All the police had to do was look at the security feed, which contained footage that was too horrific to be released. They saw him drive into the parking lot early on Sunday morning and remove Jassy's body from the car. He dragged her through the empty lobby and upstairs to his apartment. Jassy had already died. The victim was naked and covered in baking soda, and the body matched Miss Jassy's career description. Did he have a specific reason for doing that? This evidence, which was controversial and had a connection to her death, became increasingly damning. He entered the building over the next few days carrying a variety of suspicious packages from Walmart, including duct tape, electrical tape, surgical gloves, and an odor respirator. The police discovered CCTV footage from that morning showing Louis taking a large suitcase out of the building, which was most concerning. He struggled to get it into the trunk of the car. It was obviously heavy, and it was tragically clear what the suitcase contained. Police were able to activate the car's OnStar location tracker. They stopped Louis, who was driving it in Delaware. They discovered Jassy's body in a suitcase in the trunk. Police discovered Jassy Correia's remains in a suitcase inside Coleman's trunk. Prosecutors say he bought the same suitcase the day before at a Walmart in Rhode Island. The car itself bore evidence of the crime. There were 2 spider cracks near the top of the passenger side windshield, indicating that someone had kicked it. DNA from both Louis and Jassy was revealed in windshield swabs. The police also recovered Louis's computer from the trunk. Between February 24th and 27th, he conducted several internet searches, including, "Can a person fit in a suitcase? How do I pull teeth that aren't loose? And how do you embalm a body?" He had done everything he could to conceal this heinous crime, but he couldn't escape the consequences. The autopsy revealed that he had assaulted and strangled her. Nobody could explain what had triggered it. Louis's cousin commented, "You know, I grew up in a nice house. I have no idea what could have happened in this situation. Nothing particularly caught my attention, suggesting that I should monitor him closely. So, as far as I knew, he was a good, honest guy. Clearly, he would not tell everyone the truth. I don't believe he has ever faced an arrest before. When I learned that information, I felt sorry for him because it was affecting his family. I don't feel particularly bad. I believe she went in willingly, and then he killed her because she rejected him. A senseless assault lured this bright young woman, despite a traumatic past and full of hope for the future, to her death. She was a mother, brave and strong girl. She did not deserve it. She went out to celebrate her birthday and never returned home. Without fear of kidnapping or murder at the end of the night, women should have the freedom to go to any nightclub and do whatever they want. The K-breeding community and law enforcement worked together to ensure she received justice. In 2022, Louis faced justice. Louis received a life sentence in prison after his conviction for kidnapping, which resulted in death. He is currently in custody in Delaware and will appear in federal court on this new federal charge. In our case, the charge is kidnapping, which results in death. This charge carries a mandatory life sentence and is also eligible for the death penalty. He knows exactly what he did, so you only get what he deserves. Let us remind the men in our lives that violence against women is not solely a women's issue. It is a problem that men accept responsibility for in their own lives, their sons' lives, and their social lives with friends and colleagues. What are your thoughts on this horrific story? Could we have prevented Jassy's tragic death? Until next time, stay safe and subscribe to our channel. We'll see you soon on the Decoder. This message was transcribed by turboscribe.ai. Go to Unlimited to remove it.